There has been a dramatic change of what has been past history. One team will experience the ultimate feeling of playing in a championship game in 2 weeks. The other will gain only experience. It's Kingsway versus Delran in Group 2, 1987 semifinal, next on Store Cable Sports. Store Cable presents from Delran High School Stadium in Delran, New Jersey. It's the 1987 Football Group Number 2 semifinals. Today's game featuring Kingsway Dragons at the Delran Bears. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Delran High School Stadium, where today the Group 2 semifinal between the Dragons of Kingsway and the Bears of Delran. With me, Steve Solkin. Steve, the calendar still says November 21, but I could have sworn it's winter.
Yeah, it seems more like we're doing NFL playoffs today, Gene, than high school playoffs. It's pretty cold out here today, and that could have a big factor in this ball game because Tony Sackett and Delran love to throw that ball. And with the cold and the wind, the receivers are going to have a hard time catching the ball, and Sackett's going to have a hard time keeping his hand warm enough to be able to grip that football. So this weather could play into Kingsway's favor.
Yes, they could. Of course, Tony Sackett on the year has 19 touchdown passes. Steve Muchamichi has 13, and the record is 23. So we have two quarterbacks here today that have 32 touchdown passes this season.
And that record in danger of being broken by Mr. Sackett. If Delran can come away with a victory today, as you said, they'll play in 2 weeks. And Sackett just needs a couple tonight and a couple next time they play, should they win, and he'll break that record. He's definitely one of the finest to be in this area, and he's going to be highly recruited. He's the one to watch today, and as I said, it's going to be tough for him to throw a lot. On the other hand, for Kingsway, Musamuchi has a great balanced attack, so their Kingsway running attack might have an advantage today.
All right, we'll see as we look at that Kingsway team for 1987. They're big people, Muchamichi, and of course, Julian Holmes, who got a big touchdown in their last game, and their other runner, Ed Urgin, who's running in number 92 jersey. But let's take a look at the Dragons' 1987 season at a glance, if we may. 1987 put the Dragons in their opening game against Pennsville this year. They went to Pennsville and won 38-6 this year over that Pennsville squad. Their second week of the year, they went on down to Woodstown. They lost. That's their only loss this year, losing 17-14 at Woodstown. Their third game of the year against Clairview, they won 34-26. The game against St. James, they shut out St. James 35-0. Against Gloucester, they won 30-2. They tied Salem 2-2, and Salem, a Group 1 school, so that was a pretty big accomplishment right there. Against LC, they won 38-8, and their last game last week against Williamstown, they won 20-0. So they're playing very, very well, Steve, coming into this game, tying Salem, and their only loss was the second week of the season against Woodstown.
Yeah, they're 6-1-1 this year, Gene. It's the first year for them in the Trico Royal League, which is a large school league, so people really didn't expect Kingsway to have the season they had. They were 6-1-1, so they're feeling pretty confident. They're a good ball club. It's going to be a great ball game this afternoon.
All right, let's talk about the other side here, the Delran Bears. Of course, we've had the opportunity to see them twice this year on the network, and they went on to an 8-0 season. They started out their season this year against crosstown rivals Riverside and beat them by a large margin, I believe 42, there it is, 48-0. Maple Shade, they won the next week 42-0. Their third week of the year against Burlington Township, they won 20-0. Against the Florence Flashes, a game we had here on Store Cable, they won 21-6. Against Bordentown, another shutout at home, 28-0. Against Northern Burlington, the big game of the year here at Delran, they won 25-14. Capped by a great catch by John Ellison, who's one of their key players this year. Against Burlington City, a game we had on Store Cable, they won 12-0 up at Burlington City. And last week, they won by 20-0 over Palmyra to qualify for the playoffs. So, Steve, they have shut out 6 people that they have faced this year, and are second in South Jersey in defense, only behind Glassboro, who allowed 14 points a game this year against LC, and the Bears have allowed just 20.
Yeah, people talk about the Delran offense so much with Tony Sackett and John Ellison. You really tend to overlook their defense. As I mentioned, they shut out 6 opponents, and they're really a good defensive squad, and that is one of the ingredients in Delran's success. Not only Tony Sackett's offensive experience and talent, but also the defense sets up those drives for Sackett. So it's kind of a you watch my back, I'll watch your situation with the defense.
As we look at the Dragon marching band, let's take a look at the sponsors for the 1987 high school football season here in Burlington County. They are C.S. Hill Farm Market, C.S. Hill Farm Market on Salem Road in Burlington Township, by Ricky's Army and Navy, Route 130 in Delran. You know he's got to be happy today having the Bears in this semifinal game. By Morgan's Tire Service on Sunset and Salem Road in Burlington Township. By Liberty Toyota, located Route 130 in Burlington. By Riverside Savings and Loans, with offices located throughout Burlington County. By Cherry Hill Nissan on Route 38 in Cherry Hill. By Thomas Buick on Route 38 in Mount Holly. By the fine folks at Triborough Pontiac on Route 130 in Cinnaminson. And by Video Trading Post, located in the Kingsway area and also up here in Burlington County. A great list of sponsors, and I'm sure they are proud to sponsor the Group 2 semifinal, which features the Kingsway Dragon and the Delran Bears. We'll have the opening kickoff right after these important messages.
Are you ready for the hot alternative? Cherry Hill Nissan Leasing fulfills all your desires. Cherry Hill Nissan Leasing.
Season in week number 1 of the playoffs. Your referee today is Bill Smith. I'll be calling the plays. John Hubb is your umpire. Your linesman Cliff DeCourcy. Your field judge is Walt Russell. Your back judge is Dave Tarici. And your clock operator right up here in the booth with us is Will Gillespie. As it looks like Delran has won the toss and has elected to receive. Steve, the conditions are bad, of course, with the cold weather, but I'll tell you, these players are fired up and ready to go for this one.
I think the weather helps to fire you up, Gene, in a game like this. You want it to be cold, you want it to be really snowing. If it was really ideal conditions for these guys, they're really fired up. They don't care how cold it is. They don't notice it right now. Maybe as the game wears on a little bit, the players that don't see a lot of action will notice it, but the guys on the field right now think it's 80 degrees out there.
Yeah. This town has been turned on its ear this year with this football team, and I'm sure down in Kingsway they're saying the same things, because neither of these teams have had the success that they have had this year. Kicking off for Kingsway is number 21. That'll be Benny Green will be doing the kicking. Back deep is Ellison, number 9, and Verratti, number 23. As the wind swirls right in the face of the Bears right now. The field is a north-south field, and the wind is blowing straight down into the face of the Bears players for this quarter, and for the third quarter, they will have the wind in the second and fourth.
I'm surprised Kingsway didn't reverse that. Obviously, Delran won the toss and elected to receive. Kingsway should have figured the wind into the thing and make Tony Sackett throw into the wind in the fourth quarter.
All right, they try to get off to the quick start. Again, I think a key to this game is if they can score early on the Delran defense, we're going to have a good one. The kick is a short one to an up back, picked up at the 20, and he crosses the 20 to the 25 and down to about the 34-yard line. So the Bears have good field position on the return. Todd Ogan on the return went up to the 35-yard line. So first and 10 for the Bears from there. Steve, we'll see Tony Sackett early as he trots on the field, number 19, the highly recruited one.
I think the key will be, Gene, to see if Sackett comes out throwing early. If he does, if he's successful throwing, then Kingsway's in for a long afternoon.
As you heard in the interview with Jim Donahue, he said he wants to throw the football. So we'll see in this first set of downs what he does. A big defense for Kingsway. And the first one is off tackle. I saw the ball on the ground, but I think they're going to roll him down. Hogan with the carry comes across the 35 to about the 36.
Second down and about 8 for the Bears.
It'll be 2nd and 8 for the Bears from there. Again, their backfield, Steve Grello and Todd Hogan along with Saka. Ellison, the wide out, along with Tom Verratti. And Ellison has had 10 touchdown passes this year. The record is 13.
Something else to watch for, he can get a bunch in one game.
The Kingsway defense, again, looks very, very big across that front line. Here's the pitch to Grello. Grello with it, has a hole, and he cracks it across the 40 to about the 42-yard line. He looks like he's going to be about 2 or 3 yards short of the first down.
At about the 42-yard line of the Delran. Third down.
Tackle was made by Ben Casella, and Casella, 6 foot, 184-pound senior.
They're going to give Grello 5 yards on the carry, make it 3rd and 3. Good passing time for Saka.
As he's got 3 backs in the backfield. And it's the first back, Hogan, and he has the first down as he goes to the 46-yard line. So the Bears show they can do it on the ground and pick up a first down on 3 carries.
That will be a Bears 1st and 10.
Tackle was made by Ty McCluskey, number 13, the 6 foot, 172-pound senior. Look up and down this roster for Kingsway's, a lot of 12s and 11s. There'll be some players back next year.
Delran showing they can run early. That's one thing they want to do, I suppose, today is establish the running game and then go to the pass.
All right, Saka sets him down at the 46. And it's the first back. And Hogan only picks up about a yard. Todd Hogan. He's tackled by number 44, Bob Stump, the linebacker, 6'2", 184 pounds. And you look up and down the lineup, they have some pretty impressive tonnage for the Kingsway Dragons.
Yeah, there's a couple of players over 200 pounds, 218, a couple of them, 234, tight end. It's a lot of poundage on that Kingsway defense.
On 2nd down and 9 from the 47. Saka splits out Verratti to the right. And Allison. And the pitch goes left to Grello. Grello across midfield and is fighting to get additional yardage, but it will be stopped at the 49-yard line of Kingsway. You know, one thing we haven't considered yet is the punting in this ball game, Steve. It might be tough to try to kick this ball because my feet are absolutely hard right now.
Well, we saw the opening kickoff, Gene. The ball went about 20 yards, and that's going to be the problem all day.
So it'll be a game of field position here today, more than any other game that we've seen this year. With 8:30 on the clock, Delran's looking at a 3rd and 5 in his first quarter, which is scoreless. Saka rolls to his left, gets it away to Grello. Grello trying to find first down marker and has it. Delran, Steve Grello goes all the way down to about the 40-yard line. Another first down for the Bears, and Saka just got it away in time before he was brought down.
Saka with great composure there, knew that he was going to get sacked, and Grello standing behind him said, "Here, Steve, you take it. I don't want to get caught with the ball behind the line of scrimmage."
And Grello with a nice run rips off 9 yards to the 40-yard line. And the Bears are in good shape with 8:18 on the clock. They're moving. It's at the 40 of Kingsway. Dragons, of course, coached by Tony Barchuk, and he's over there screaming at his defense right now to stop this rush, because that's all they've done so far is running plays right up the gut.
That's the kind of play that can really hurt a defense psychologically. You figure you got the quarterback sacked and you end up getting a first down on you.
Here's the handoff. Hogan picks up 5 yards to the 35-yard line. The Bears are finding themselves here in this early part of the first quarter, Steve, in 2nd down and medium range yardage, meaning anywhere from 4 to 6 yards to go for a first down, which is good.
Yeah, they're running on the first play and they're getting about 4 or 5 yards. And anytime you can do that, you're definitely happy with it. That way they can let Saka wait to put it up until they really want to.
All right, the Dragons dig in because they feel that goal line coming behind them. It's time for the defense to rise here on this 2nd and 5. And this time a fumble. It's picked up by Grello, and Grello is hammered down, and the Dragons do the job that time on defense.
That time, Kingsway was able to make a nice hit on Ogun first, knocked the ball loose, just not able to come up with it, but a good defensive play.
The Bears have taken the opening kickoff and run the clock down to 7 minutes here in this first quarter, but they're looking at 3rd and 6 from the 36-yard line of Kingsway as the ball's being blown around here today in this wind. It is gusting up to 35 miles an hour here this afternoon and will be a factor throughout. Verratti in motion, coming right at you, and here's the pitch. The Grellos, they stay on the ground, 36. Great play by the safety, number 13, Ty McCluskey, who came up to meet Grello behind the line of scrimmage. That time the run did not work.
Threw him for a loss of 5 yards. I think everybody was looking, except for the Kingsway defense, was not going to throw it up in the air, because last time on a 3rd and about 5, they didn't. So this time Kingsway is looking for the run because of the weather, I think, and they were able to stop him. So we'll see our first punt of the ball game.
McCluskey played it as well as you can ask the safety to do, as he stayed right there, did not take the fake of Verratti in motion, and went right after Steve Grello. Here's a short punt, and it's going to bounce out at the 30-yard line. The punt only about 10 yards, and that's what we mean as Kingsway now will come on offense with 6:11 on the clock in the first quarter. Will return to Delran High School Stadium right after this.
Want to buy a Renault? Low? Where to?
That was Ed Urgin with the ball. Number 92, and Ellison in on a tackle. And it'll be a loss of 3.
Urgin's going to lose about 3 yards on the play.
In the backfield, it's number 6, Steve Musamichi, along with Ed Urgin, number 92, and the other man, Julian Holmes. In a pro set, Musamichi sets him down. First back through, big hole, and he's going to be close to first down yardage. Might have the first down at the 40.
That was Julian Holmes on the carry. Had a nice block through the middle and just went to the hole and picked up very close to the first down. And they're going to measure.
What a great run that time by Julian Holmes. And of course, Holmes scored a big touchdown in her game last week to put them up. And is a solid runner. And that's one thing Jim Donahue was concerned about, was the balance that this Dragon team has in Urgin and Holmes and the throwing of Musamichi.
And he did get the first. I believe he's a bit short of the first down. Now they're going to give it to him.
It is a first down, so with 5:20 on the clock, the Dragons have picked up their first down of the ball game. First back again, this time it's Urgin, and Urgin picks up maybe 2 yards to the 42.
On the carry. The gain of about
Again, the Dragons going against one of the better defenses in South Jersey this year have allowed just 20 points the entire season, allowing 6 points to Florence and 14 to NBC. Number 3, Frank Tiemann, the wide receiver closest to you. And Musamichi to the first back. What a great fake job. He had me faked out. I still thought he had the ball, Steve.
Julian Holmes got the ball, ran one for another first down, another 12 yards. He's got 2 carries, 25 yards, and 2 first downs. So Holmes doing a good job, and as you said, a good fake by Musamichi had us faked out, and all of a sudden we see Holmes breaking through the middle with the football.
Number 26, Julian Holmes, now has over 20 yards on this drive, which started at the 30-yard line, and now is in Delran territory. First back again. That time, we're going to see what that was. I think maybe Urgin that time for about 2 yards to the 47-yard line.
Second down and 8.
It was Holmes with a carry for 2 yards. So they're looking at 2nd and 8, and neither quarterback has thrown it up in the vicious winds here at Delran this afternoon. by Musumeci. On a 2nd and 8, quick count, and the pitch to Holmes, and Holmes is brought down at about the 45-yard line at Delran. Barnes in on the tackle, and Barnes, Steve, was a question mark because he dislocated his shoulder in the NBC game, had not played in 2 weeks, and is in here this afternoon. So we'll have to look at number 56, the captain, Barnes.
It's a nice play because Holmes looked like he was ready to turn the corner, and Barnes was able to catch him from behind, and Holmes didn't know what hit him.
3rd and 7 from the 45 of Delran. So the Dragons faced with their big 3rd down play right here. Let's see if they can convert. Musumeci has it, rolling, throws, has a man wide open. Number 82 is Mel Carter, is brought down at about the 11-yard line. So Musumeci on the rollout finds Carter wide open for a big play.
There you see the passing attack that Kingsway has as well.
Ball marked at about the 11-yard line.
It's going to be spotted at the 11. Nice throw by Musumeci, number 6. Carter was just wide open. All he had to do was pull it in and ramble downfield, and he goes to the 11. So they can still get a 1st down and not a touchdown here on this with 2:30 on the clock in the 1st quarter. The Dragons on the move. Musumeci fumbles, but I believe he jumped on it. Number 6, Musumeci,
Kingsway keeps possession.
will keep possession at the 13, so a loss of 2.
At
On
about
a 2nd down and
13, make that 12.
12 from the 13.
37-yard pass play from Musumeci to Carter, and that sets up Kingsway down near the Delran goal line. If they can score first, the momentum's going to be on their side.
You know, I'm surprised at how many people came up from Kingsway on this very cold day, but they're here in force. Here's Julian Holmes, wide open, and he is in for the touchdown. Julian Holmes on a counter play, and he is in the end zone for 6. And the Dragons break on this scoreboard for the first time. They're up 6-0.
Nice run by Holmes again. We've seen him this afternoon do a pretty good job, especially on his drive. Just a very nice job.
All right, let's see if they go for the extra point. They will try the extra point. 54 Mark Jaramillo will attempt the extra point. The snap, kick is up, and the kick is through. So with 1 minute and 50 seconds to go in quarter number 1, the Dragons strike first here at Delran. They are up 7-0. We will return with more Group 2 action right after this.
You work hard all day.
For our folks at home.
The 70-yard drive for the Dragons ended with a 13-yard touchdown run by Holmes. Point after was good, 7-0 with 1:50 left in the 1st quarter.
The big play, of course, the 37-yard pass from Musumeci to Mel Carter to bring it down to the 11-yard line on 3rd and long. And here's the kick, and we'll see if Delran can bring it back. Ellison fields it at his 5, to the 10, to the 15, trying to find the sideline, and picks it up at about the 25-yard line before he's spun out of bounds.
Good run back by Ellison, but also good special teams coverage for the Dragons. Ellison was able to find the sideline, but as he was able to do that, the special teams for Kingsway was still right there with him.
All right, so the Bears now trailing 7-0.
How about this stat, Gene? There's over a minute and a half left to go in the 1st quarter. Tony Sack has yet to throw the ball.
Yeah. Yep, and they held the ball for over 5 minutes at least in their first drive, which came up empty. Here's a handoff up the gut, and that's Grello, and Grello's brought down at the line of scrimmage.
A loss on the play.
Maybe even a loss. Let's see where they spot it.
They'll have 2nd down at about 11.
Grello losing about a foot on the carry, and the Dragons have impressed me so far on their defense, Steve.
Very stingy defense, very stingy run defense. The longest run for Delran has been 9 yards.
Again, that big front line of the Dragons on defense, playing well here in quarter number 1. And Grello gets back, or make it Ogun back to the original line of scrimmage. So The Bears looking at a 3rd down and long here.
Timeout, Kingsway.
Here's where we see Mr. Saka's arm.
All right, we have a timeout on the field with 55 seconds to go in quarter number 1. Your score, the Dragons 7, the Bears nothing. We'll return after these commercial messages. Saka trying to roll out, and he's brought down at about the 29-yard line and will force Delran into another punting situation as Saka lost about a yard on the play. And I believe Kingsway has called now another timeout. So with 45 seconds to go and 4th and long, the Bears will have to punt. We'll see them do that right after these important messages. Thinking like he's going to, and now it's blocked. Minus number 77 in the line. That's Matt Sorabello, and it is brought all the way down inside the 5 to the 3. What a break for the Dragons as Ford was trying to see if a lot of his players would release downfield and was hanging on there. It almost looked like he was going to fake it, Steve, but by the time he decided to kick it, Sorabello was in there to block it.
What a play for Kingsway. They can now go up by an even larger margin as they have a 1st and goal from about the 2-yard line.
All right, there's a happy Dragon bench right now as things are going their way. It's 1st and goal from about the 1-yard line. Musamichi tries to get it in across the end zone, and he does not. We have 7-6. We'll wind it down here in quarter number 1 unless it's stopped. And I believe it is stopped. A timeout called by the Dragons as they use all 3 timeouts here in quarter number 1. With 4 seconds to go in this quarter, we'll return after these commercial messages. Seconds on the clock, quarter number 1. Kingsway now has called all of their timeouts for the half. Musamichi could not get in the first time. And here's Julian Holmes, and Holmes is going to be spotted outside of the goal line. And that'll do it for the first quarter of action here at Delran High School. The score after quarter number 1, the Dragons 7, the Bears nothing. We'll be back with more second quarter action right after this. Musamichi had a dime on it at the 5.
What a defensive stand by this Bear defensive line. They knew it was coming, but they were able to stop it, something they haven't been able to do so far this afternoon. And here goes the Dragons going for it.
All right, they are going for it here on 4th down, 4th and 5. Musamichi rolling, throwing, incomplete. And the Bears defense comes up with maybe their biggest stand of the year this year.
The Bears defense really held that time. Musamichi tried to fool him with a little rollout to the right, just tossed it in the end zone. His receiver was open. However, he missed through it. It was a little short, and that could have been due to the weather, really not being able to control the ball as well as he wanted to. Now what happens is Delran has Mr. Momentum on his side in a brown jersey, and Mr. Momentum can be a 250-pound tight end if they want it to be. He can be whatever you want. Whatever he is, he's a key player, and now Delran has him on their side.
All right, we've got an injury timeout on the field. 11:16 to go in quarter number 2. Your score, Dragons 7, Bears nothing. We'll return after these commercial messages. Very precarious spot. 1st down from their own 5. From the I formation, Saka. First back, and let me tell you, the defense of the Dragons has just been great so far in this quarter and 1 minute here in the second.
They certainly have. That time it was Hogan. He got nothing.
At about the 4-yard line of the Bears.
I believe Grillo was in on the carry. And that Dragon defense, again, is very, very big in that front line. And Delran is going to have one heck of a long day, those offensive linemen, keeping those guys out of the backfield.
Hogan actually lost the yard, so it's 2nd and 11.
Saka to throw for the first time. As Verratti. And Verratti is slammed down at about the 9-yard line.
First pass is complete. Tommy Verratti, number 23.
Gain of about 8.
For the Bears, that'll be 3rd down and about 1.
The Bears are now looking at a 3rd and 1. 3rd and 1 from the 14.
They're going to give Verratti 10 yards on the reception, so it is 3rd and 1. with 10-11 to go in this first half.
So on 3rd and 1, Saka hitting his first pass right there for 10 yards. And now we'll go back to the drawing board here and try to pick up this first down. Grello hammers, but I don't think he got there. I don't think he got there. Tackle made by number 44, Bob Stum, the linebacker, the 6'2", 184-pound senior.
Scott Ford will punt for Delran.
And that'll force number 44, Scott Ford, to punt for the Bears. Of course, he's had one that's only gone 10 yards and another that was blocked. So this has become a very exciting part of this ball game. And Ford routes one out here, past midfield, and look at that roll as it rolls all the way down to inside the 30 to the 27-yard line on the Bears, as Scott Ford just ripped off about a 58-yard punt.
That was a 65-yard.
Make it 54 yards lead on the count.
Steve.
54-yard punt.
54. All right, so they have it 1st and 10 now from their own 26. And the Dragons probably thought they were in good shape before Ford routed that thing out. Now they'll have to change their offense a bit.
That's really all Delran wanted, Gene. Is not really they didn't really expect a good scoring drive. They just wanted to get it so Kingsway had bad field position again.
Hand off by Musumeci to Urgent, number 92. And Delran stops it short on the line of scrimmage as Kingsway's Urgent just about gets to the 25-yard line. A Bear came up with a football, and this sideline went nuts, Steve, but the whistle had been called, and the ball was down at the 25.
Everybody thought Delran recovered a fumble there.
8:45 on the clock in the second quarter. Dragons up 7-0. Musumeci to his second back, that's Holmes. And Holmes cracks over the 30 to about the 32 for a pickup of 7.
On that carry for Kingsway, number 26, Julian Holmes. For Kingsway, that'll set up a third
so now Kingsway are looking at a 3rd and 5.
Marked at the 32-yard line of the Kingsway.
As they have to come across the 36-yard line just about for a first down.
Interesting to see what Musumeci does on this play.
On 3rd.
On December 12th, for anybody sending congratulations, the two met when he was in charge of the Queen's horse stables. Their romance came to light back in '89 when their love letters were stolen and sold to a newspaper. Anne was divorced earlier this year from Mark Phillips. She is the first British royal to divorce.
Probably the gain wouldn't have been as large.
That's about the only warm guy here today.
Maybe.
Bear of Delran, maybe the Dragon over there across the way at Kingsway.
That's only if it's real fur.
They'll put the football back to the 15-yard line. Now Kingsway is looking at a 3rd and about 22 here. And there's the Dragon across the way, the counterpart to the Bear here this afternoon from Delran High School Stadium. A big play here with 7:46 on the clock in the second quarter. 3rd and 22 for the Dragons. From the I formation, Musumeci sets him down, and there's the reverse to number 3. That's Frank Tiemann. And Tiemann is brought down at about the 15. And, you know, Steve, you can sense that they got the big defensive play down here, stopping the Dragons on 1st and goal at the 2, then getting the big punt from Scott Ford, and now the defensive series here, which puts them back to the 15-yard line, where their punter will be in the end zone punting away. That's Tamiya, number 3.
This will be the first punt for Kingsway this afternoon.
Ellison standing at the 35. I don't know if there's a gale, if he'll get it that far, but he hits a line drive to the 35, and the Bears, Verratti, picks it up at the 46-yard line and goes down right there. So the Dragons get a good play on special teams, and the Bears will have it 1st and 10 at the 46.
36-yard kick for Kingsway. mostly on the roll. It was actually only about 20 yards, and then the roll brought it another 15 yards or so.
Well, without a doubt, because of the cold weather, that ground is very, very hard. And you saw that on Scott Ford's punt, because his punt must have rolled some 25 yards.
First and 10, the Delran Bears.
So the Bears now will have it first and 10. They're spotting it 47-yard line of the Dragons, and Saka looks. He's got Varady out there, and he lofts it to him. They climb in the air, and Varady, and it's intercepted by the Dragons. A great interception as Saka threw it up, and it was intercepted. Let's see who got it. Looks like number 82, Mel Carter, with the interception, as him and Varady went up at the same time, and Carter pulled it out of Varady's hands.
It was great from our angle, Gene. We were behind it as you were on the camera. We saw both guys go up at the same time and come down at the same time. We had to wait for the official to signal because we couldn't see who caught it either.
Yep, we were totally screened. But with 6:15, the Dragons had the ball back, just about where they just punted from the 18. Again, Kingsway has used all 3 timeouts. And the handoff to the first back. And it might have been Ed Urgin. And he comes up to about the 24-yard line. Make it Julian Holmes, number 26, comes up to the 24-yard line. A nice pickup there in first down as they get about 6.
They've been doing that all afternoon. Holmes really carrying the ball well.
Number 92 on the carry. For Kingsway, it'll be second down and about 4.
Second and 4 for Kingsway as they split out number 3, Frank Temian, from the I formation. Musamichi sets him down. It's the second back. And that's Urgin. And Urgin has the first down, still on his feet, as he's carrying Bears tacklers all the way to the 36-yard line.
That will be a Kingsway first and
so the Dragons get a big first down here, keep the football, keep the clock rolling with 5 minutes and 15 seconds. And I'll start up right now as they set the chains.
Give him a gain of 12 on the play. Urgin with a nice run, just kept moving and kept moving. Delran couldn't bring him down.
He was moving like a steamroller right there, carrying Bears on his back to about the 34-yard line. And here's Urgin again, and this time he gets into a wall of gold and brown, and Urgin stopped at the line of scrimmage. So the Dragons back to the drawing board here on second and 10.
No gain, no loss on the play, second and 10.
About a yard, second and 11.
And Steve is clouding over. We had some snow flurries as this crew was setting up here this morning. And again, we want to thank the people here at Delran for helping us set this one up here, the Group 2 semifinals. Rich Janulis, Mr. Duda, and the whole squad here at Delran really doing a job and getting us set for this big game in 1987. There's the handoff to Urgin, and Urgin this time comes across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. So they're looking at about a third and maybe 7 yards.
Third down and about 7.
Pick up of about 3 for Urgin. He's got 5 carries, 10 yards, Urgin has, and the last one was 12, so that just shows you how much they've stopped at Urgin today, has the Bears.
All right, 3rd and 7 from the 37. And the Bears defense is asked to come up with yet another big play, and it looks like they have. Number 9, John Ellison, was the first man in there that really slowed things up for the rest of the Bears. Number 54, McDonald, in on the tackle, and it's 4th down and long as he actually lost yardage.
He did lose yardage.
It
It was 4th and 7. It's now 4th and 11, so give him a loss of 4.
For the Bears will be number 9, John Ellison, and number
All right, number 3, Frank Temian, who had a good kick his last time, has much better field position now. He's standing at his own 20. The kick is a line drive in the direction of Ellison, and he fields it and falls at his own 45. So the Bears now will take it 1st and 10 from the 45. We have 2:57 to go here in quarter number 2. We'll be back with more second quarter action right after this. 7-yard line of Kingsway. So Saka trying to get it unraveled here as he's now thrown 2 and has completed 2.
Actually, he's 2 out of 3. One went incomplete, but that time he had Verratti out in the flat, had him wide open. Verratti did a nice job of running with the ball. After he caught it, he picked up a good 20 yards on the pass.
All right, so now they send Verratti back the other way, closest to you. In a 1st and 10 from the Kingsway 37. Saka rolls, pitches back to Steve Grillo. Grillo picks up about 3 or 4 as he comes to the 34-yard line.
For the Bears, that'll set up a 2nd down and about 8.
You know, another thing, Steve, the crowd was very scarce here on the Delran side right around kickoff. I guess everybody was hoping to warm up, and when they found out it wasn't going to do that, they still came out. 2:04 on the clock in the 2nd quarter. 7-0 favor of the Dragons, but Delran now at the 34 of Kingsway. Saka rolls, throws behind his man and incomplete. Tom Verratti, number 23. Saka had Verratti and Ford in the same area. I wonder if somebody ran a bad pattern.
Maybe it looked like there were too many receivers in that area. Saka didn't know, but he had a lot of pressure coming from the left side in the form of Ed Urgent. It's a good thing he got rid of it when he did, because Urgent was right on his back.
All right, we're down to a minute 51 here. More importantly, a 3rd down and 7 or 8 for the Bears from the 34-yard line of Kingsway. Allison split out closest to you, and Saka drops. He rolls. He tucks it under and might have the 1st down. He just might have the 1st down as he gets inside the 25. And if that's where they spot him, he's got the 1st down.
Give him a gain of 9 on the play.
Shows a little bit of his leadership skills right there, tucking it under and getting a big 1st down.
Give Saka a gain of 9. He only needed 8, so it's a 1st down.
All right, a minute 44 now. And now they have a 1st and 10 from right inside the 25. But the Dragons have been tough today on defense when Delran has threatened before.
In between those 20s, the defenses have really stiffened up.
All right, now Saka looking, throwing downfield. Verratti's got it, and he is in for the touchdown. Tony Saka, the Tom Verratti, and the connection works once more as Saka now has thrown 20 touchdown passes this year.
What a pass to Verratti. Verratti wide open, and Verratti just sticks it in for the score.
Kingsway 7, Delran 6.
All right, the Bears.
Mike Merton will take the extra point for the Bears.
The Bears will try the extra point. Mike Merton, and I think Jimmy Donahue wants timeout as he didn't have the right personnel in the field. So with 1:36 on the clock, your score, Kingsway 7, Delran 6. We'll return with more after these important messages. Welcome back here to Delran High School. The extra point attempt by Mike Merritt. The kick is up, and it is good. So with a minute 36 to go in the 2nd quarter, your score, Delran 7, Dragon 7. We're going to keep it right here. There is a flag down in the end zone, and it's going to be against the Bears. So let's call it all back, folks, and try to do it once more.
They'll have to do it again. This time more like a field goal now than an extra point. Instead of the 2-yard line, they mark it at the 7.
All right, so let's see how this changes the complexion of this extra point. A minute 36 to go in this 2nd quarter. And it's going to be a big penalty, which, wow, it'll force Merritt now to kick, like you said, almost a field goal.
Merritt now will be attempting the extra point from the 13-yard line.
They're kicking now from the 14 instead of the 4. So it's, in a sense, a 24-yard field goal right here.
Yep. Let's see where they spot it. Actually, they're going to spot it at the 20, so it's like a 30-yard kick here to the crossbar and the uprights. So he's got 30 yards to go. He had enough leg on the last one. Let's see if he can get it this time. It is up, and it is good. So with 1:36 on the clock to go in this first half, your score, Delran 7, Dragons 7. We'll be back with more right after this.
That's number 8.
Welcome back here to Delran High School. There's your score, 7-7. And the Bears now will kick off to Kingsway. First time they've kicked off. And Steve, you got the scoring summary for our folks at home.
47-yard drive for Delran, a 25-yard touchdown pass from Tony Sacca to Verratti. The point after a 25-yard field goal was good. It is tied at 7-7 with 1:36 to go. Interesting to note, both scores in this ballgame occurred in the last 2 minutes of the quarter.
Yeah. And Jimmy Donahue's father was just saying to me in the break up here that if it was the other way at the other end of the field, they probably would have gone for 2. But being that the wind was behind his back, he was able to put it through the uprights.
I'll tell you, that probably would have been good for 40 yards out. That had a lot of room left on it.
Yep. And he got it up high. Let's see if he does it here. Barron hits a line drive this time, and it's fielded by number 24. That's Mike Walls. And Walls is really knocked down at about the 24-yard line. So the Bears right now are kind of establishing some things for the second half.
They're really fired up right now, Gene, and their defense is really coming out here strong.
And for Kingsway, they will have first down in 10 at the 24.
All right, the Dragons will bring their offense back on the field with 1:24, and it's running down. And, you know, really, Tony Barchuk has to be pleased with the way his Dragons have played in this first half, because he knew coming in here it was going to be tough to play. And if he's tied at halftime, it's almost a moral victory.
His defense has really shown us a lot today. Now remember, they can't stop the clock.
All right, Musamichi, hands off. It looks like Holmes as he cracks over the 25 to the 26-yard line. And you kind of wonder maybe if the Bears will call timeout to save the clock, and they do. With 51 seconds on the clock, the Bears have used their second timeout. And with that timeout, we'll return to finish this one here at Delran High School for the first half. We are tied at 7. The same thing Kingsway did in the first half as we just get a gust about 35. Looks like an absolute sand field on there right now. Players blowing over and everything.
It looks like the Sahara Desert out there today.
I'll tell you.
It just pulled John Ellison right over. He's going to hear about that the rest of the week in school.
Yeah, Ellison, you know, is only 6 foot, 160 pounds. The way that wind is blowing around here, it might just carry him in the next county. 51 seconds to go. Let's see if we can get a snap away now. Remember, folks, we still have a whole second half to go, and it's only going to get colder at this point. Musamichi wants no mistakes right now, and Holmes brings it back maybe to the line of scrimmage with 44 seconds on the clock. And it'll be 3rd and 9 for Kingsway. And there's Barnes, number 56. The man who's been injured the last 2 weeks and the captain of this team, trying to call the big defensive plays, and maybe this might be the last play of the first half.
If they get it off, they should be. They have to get it off. They may take a penalty.
Yep. So we're down to single digits now. This indeed will be the last play. Musamichi inside, and the Bears hold as we wind it down. And no, the Bears get a timeout. So they're going to try to set up one play here. And each team has used their allotted timeouts in this first half, which has just 6. And now Donahue wants to force number 3, Frank Tiemann, into punting the same way that they forced Ford into punting down here at the end of the first quarter.
That's why, Gene, if I was Kingsway, I would have taken a penalty for too much time. It gets you down to about 10 seconds left, and then you get 5 yards back, but you don't lose it down.
Right.
You use all the clock you can, and there would have been about under 10 seconds, and that way you could have just had the last play run. By the time the tackle was made, the clock would have run out. Instead of having 6 seconds left, that extra 6 seconds they could have used running the clock out last play.
All right, so the timeout just about expiring here, and the Bears are very, very fired up right now. Who says, though, that they have to punt? That's another question. As Tiemann stands back at his own 10, not a lot of time left, so maybe he'll just fake it and run the clock out here.
He could run right
No,
towards the
he's going to
sideline.
boot it out of there. It's a short kick, and will die at the 45-yard line of the Dragons. We have 3 zeros on the scoreboard, a new scoreboard here at Delran High School. Your score at halftime is the Bears 7, the Dragons 7. We'll have some halftime stats for you when we return after these commercial messages. The crowd trying to find any way they can to keep warm here on this brutal day in Delran in third week in November.
It's tough. It's tough for us here, and we got a windshield up here. I tell you, my feet haven't been felt in a couple of hours.
All right, at halftime, we have a great one going for you here. It is Delran 7, Kingsway 7. It was the Dragons in the first quarter, really, Steve. And you had the scoring summary there for folks at home on these two scores. But it was Dragons scoring first, and then the Bears tying right before half.
Yeah, in the first quarter, towards the end, Kingsway scored on a 70-yard drive, ended with a Julian Holmes 13-yard touchdown run. The point after was good. It was 7-0 with 1:50 left in the first quarter. Then Delran, with just 1:36 left in the half, a 47-yard drive, a 25-yard touchdown pass from Sackett to Verratti. The point after, a 20-yarder, was good, and it was 7-7, as I said, 1.5 minutes to go in the half when Delran tied it up. So that's where we stand at halftime, just where we started with the score knotted.
Everybody running to the school for a little warmth, running to the hot chocolate stand that's right beside us here. Let's throw up the stats, if we can, for the first half and see if they reveal anything. Well, Kingsway had 59 yards rushing in that first half, and they kind of combined it pretty well between Ed Urgin and Julian Holmes there.
Well, the carries were evenly divided, pretty much. Holmes, 11 carries, 55 yards, and Urgin had 6 carries for 6 yards. Now, he had one 12-yard run, so that just shows you how well the defensive line for the Bears are stopping Urgin. One run of 12 yards, and the rest add up to -6 yardage. Frank Tiemann had 1 carry for -2 yards. That was it for Kingsway.
All right, Delran had 23 yards rushing. Now, they're not a rushing team, but Jimmy Donahue, I think, wants to see a little more balance there, and he didn't have it in the first half.
Well, you were talking about balance between the two backs, Grello and Ogun. They both had 7 carries. Grello 12 yards, Ogun 11 yards. So they're basically doing the same thing. They're just trying to get a little pressure off of Tony Sackett.
All right, Musamichi had 37 yards passing. That all on one pass to Mel Carter, which brought him down to set up the touchdown.
1 for 2, 37 yards, no interception and no touchdowns. He threw the ball twice, and as you said, that one was that long pass play.
And then 55 yards passing for Saka, who didn't throw a ball in the first quarter at all and threw 3 in the second quarter.
He was 3 out of 5 for 55 yards, a 10-yarder, a 20-yarder, and then that 25-yard touchdown pass to Verratti, 1 interception and 1 touchdown.
All right, first downs look pretty even there. 5 for Kingsway, 6 for Delran. The penalty yardage, 10 apiece, but the one that the Bears got almost cost them an extra point.
Yeah, they were coming down, and they had the extra point, got called for holding, and that's what made that extra point 20 yards long instead of just 12.
All right, turnovers. Saka was intercepted in the first half on a fine play by Carter as him and Verratti went up in the air, and it was Carter who wrestled it from the ground. So that's the only turnover so far. We've had some fumbles, but each team has recovered their own fumble, and that's the story after 24 minutes here at Delran in the Group 2 semifinals. And we still have the second half to go, Steve. What do you expect to see in that second half that's any different than what we saw in the first?
I don't know how much different it can be, Gene. I think Delran would probably try and like to throw the ball up a little bit more, but that's very difficult on a day like today. And I think Kingsway is going to go to Holmes a lot more. Holmes has had success on the ground for him. I think they're going to try and stay with that.
All right, the diehard fans are waiting for the second half. So are we. We are tied at 7. We'll be back with more on the second half right after this. And Steve, second half just underway here. Mike Walls, number 24, back deep to receive. A very exciting first half, and I look forward to see this second half.
Should be a good one, and as we were talking about it with some of the guys up here, if it should end in a tie, there is a tie-breaking system that they will use. We'll get into that a little bit later if we have to.
All right, it is Meriton doing the kicking, number 5. And of course, The winner of this second half will play the winner of Sterling and Buena, which is going on right now down in Buena. It's 7-7, and now Merritt will have somebody hold the ball. Walls back deep, number 24. And the kick off the hands, and Walls, 24, can't find it, and finally they jump on it at about the 9-yard line. That was a weird kick, Steve, in the sense that it hit one of the upmen in the hands, and Walls touched it but couldn't find it, couldn't locate it, and finally they just jumped on it.
What the upman did is deflected. It went right to Walls, but it still bounced up as it came to him, hit off his hand, and all he could do was fall on it, and that's where Kingsway would take over at their 10-yard line.
Field position has meant so much here today because of the factors, and right now Delran is winning the field position to start this third quarter.
First and 10, Kingsway.
All right, Musamichi, the quarterback, and straight ahead running is Ed Yurgen.
That carry
That
is
is,
by number 26.
or make that Holmes, Julian Holmes, number 26.
That will be.
I believe we've been calling number 92 Ed Urgin. It's Yurgen, Y-U-R-G-I-N. So, Ed, we apologize if you're watching this here this week. It's Ed Yurgen. 11:06 here on the clock in quarter number 3. It's 7-7. Musamichi to Holmes. Holmes trying to find that outside, and Holmes picks up a first down as he comes across the 30 to about the 34. So Kingsway getting things underway here in the second half.
On the ground, they're doing the job, and looks like Steve Verratti is hurt down there. It's going to be Tony Verratti.
All right, so with timeout on the field, 10:50 on the clock, quarter number 3. We have an official's timeout. We'll be back. His own power. Looks like he just had the wind knocked out of him. First and 10 for the Dragons as we'll start the clock back up here. Musamichi. And there's Ed Yurgen, and Yurgen comes across the 30 to about the 33-yard line. He's going to be close to another first down.
They're going to give him about 8 yards. Call it second and 2.
That'll be a second down and about 2. Second and 2, that's all being marked. About the 33.
There's the windstorm again.
Yeah, you know, looked like some of the players from Kingsway wanted to face Musamichi in the huddle, and they just said no way as the wind is just ripping right in their faces right now. That same wind will be in the faces of the Bears in quarter number 4. The handoff to Yurgen. He has the first down and much more. Yurgen comes across the 40, and let's see where they spot him. At about the 45-yard line, another first down for Kingsway, and this is what they did in that first quarter, Steve. They took it and ran it right down Delran.
They certainly did. That was a 12-yard carry. I'm making a 7-yard carry, excuse me.
So they have put 2 first downs together here. With 9:53 on the clock, they have it first and 10 from their own 45.
No, I thought they were going to go more to Holmes this half, but apparently Yurgen getting the bulk of the work. He's a bigger back.
And the workhorse. And now it's Holmes, the first back, and the Bears are there to respond at the 46-yard line. Only a pickup of about a yard.
If that. They're going to give him the
Here
yard.
comes the wind.
Here comes that wind again.
Kingsway will have a second down. Second and about 9.
Second and 9 for the Dragons from the 46. A big series here of downs as the Bears defense wants to continue to establish how well they've been playing in that second quarter here in the third and fourth quarters. And Kingsway saying, no way, we're going to come back and get this lead right now. There's the handoff, and the Bears are there. Number 54, McDonald. But the big one was 56, Mark Barnes, their captain, who's been injured, onto the play and makes the big play at linebacker.
Yurgen got the ball, and he ran into Barnes as soon as he touched it. And they're going to mark it off 5 yards, back 5. make it a third and 14. And now Musumeci has to go to the air.
All right. He was successful on a 3rd and 6 when he hit Carter with a 37-yard pass play in the first half. Let's see if he does the rollout and throw to Carter again. He's going to throw right away. Has his tight end across the middle, but it's short of a first down. Number 86, make it 96, Larry Robinson, the tight end. Caught the ball, but short of a first down. They're looking at a 4th and 3 inside Delran's territory at the 48.
Yeah, give him 11 yards on the pass play, but still short of the first down, and they'll have to punt.
All right, number 3, Frank Tiemann will punt. Ball is spotted at the 47. Good punt as it goes out of bounds. Let's see where they're going to mark it. Out about their own 32-yard line. The punt only about 15 yards, but he'll take it in that fierce wind.
He will. That one really got hung up by the wind. And Delran takes it over. See where they officially mark it. Looks like at about the 34.
Yeah, they're going to spot it up a little further than where the one side judge had originally spotted it. We have 7:53, and the Bears now with the ball. Saka. The handoff. And I believe it was Todd Ogan. And Ogan comes across the 35 to the 37 for about a pickup of 4. Second down and 6 will be the call for Saka here. And, you know, Steve, we saw the Florence game where the Bears were behind 6-0 at half and came out rolling in that second half with 21 unanswered points and scored every time they had the ball. I'm sure Jimmy Donahue wants to get them as fired up here in this second half.
Also, the game against Burlington City, we saw them with a strong second half.
Saka rolling, tucks it under, comes up to about the 45, maybe a pickup of 2. And we got a flag on the play, and it could be a late hit. As we have a personal foul against the Dragons. Somebody took a late shot at Tony Saka, but it's a big penalty because it gives the Bears a first down and should put them into Dragon territory.
15-yard penalty. Saka only got up to about the 40-yard line, probably about 4 yards shy. It would have been a 3rd and 4. And then now, because of the penalty, they bring it all the way up. And where they're going to mark it is the Kingsway 43-yard line.
All right, so the Bears have it 1st and 10. Each team picking up a first down here in the second half. Well, actually, Kingsway picked up 2 in that drive. The Bears have their first one here with 7:05 on the clock. It's tied at 7. Saka from the I formation. Grello, the deep back. And Saka rolls, this time to his left, looking, fires underneath coverage, and it was almost intercepted by number 44, Bob Stum. Stum has had a great game for the Dragons as he's been everywhere here this afternoon.
Yeah, he's a great player, Stum, and he was right there that time to almost intercept the ball. Saka really didn't throw too well, and again, it could be that weather really affecting the way the quarterbacks handle the ball. Stum goes 6'2", 184, a senior, so he's a big kid.
All right, so now they look at a 2nd and 10 from the 43. As the wind picks up, as you can see in your picture there. They keep it on the ground. Grello is brought down. Number 54, Mark Jeremiel. Jeremiel in on the tackle, number 54.
3rd down here.
And it looks like 3rd and 9. Or make it 10 for a first down as Grello is lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Tom Parati checks back into the ball game. Good to see him after he went off a couple of plays ago, but he's back in the ball game now, and this obvious passing down for the Bears.
All right, they split Ellison out wide to the left of Saka, Verratti to the right, and from the eye, they'll go with 6:13 on the clock in quarter number 3, 3rd and 10, and Tony Saka drops, looks, fires downfield, and overthrows his man. And number 82 was in the area. That, of course, is Mel Carter, who's already picked one off, almost had number 2 there.
That one went right through his hands. It was way over Tom Ferrati's head. Verratti was open down at about the 15-yard line, but it went over his head. And again, the weather really affecting the way these quarterbacks throwing the ball.
That's how cold it is. Rarely would you see football players with their outside jackets on like that. Only in snow and very, very cold temperatures. And they're wrapped to keep warm here this afternoon. Ford will punt it away here on 4th down. High snap. The kick is a very short kick. It hits at the 25 and bounces back to the 26. So the Dragons will take over 1st and 10 from there. And a punting game for both sides, really a disarray today, but the reasons are out there. It's the weather.
It's obvious because the feet are cold, and the last thing you want to do when you have ice-cold feet is hit a rock-hard football. And if you do, you're not going to hit it very hard.
Ford did hit a monster of a punt in the first half of 54 yards, but that time a very short punt. And Musumici's back on the field. And so are the rest of the Dragons offense. Here's Julian Holmes, and Holmes is brought down. Fine play by Tom Verratti, number 23.
Verratti was able to get behind the line, and it just looked as if Holmes was going to turn the corner, and Verratti got in there and brought him down. What a defensive play by Tom Verratti. Got back to the line of scrimmage, did Holmes, but it could have been a lot worse for Delran.
Yeah, Verratti just would not go for any kind of fake, just waited for Holmes to come and really just cutting down at the ankles. It's 2nd and 10. As the Bears in that swarming defense want to come up big here in this series. There's the handoff, and he's pulled down behind the line of scrimmage. It was Ed Jurgen, number 92.
Brought down by Mr. Barnes, Gene, and Barnes really doing an outstanding job out there on defense today. That time, he brought Mr. Jurgen back behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 3 yards, bringing 3rd and 15, called a loss of 4.
That's what you call, Steve, shooting the gap, and that's exactly what Barnes did, is he looked for the opening in the offensive line, found it, and found the ball carrier. 4:20 to go here in the 3rd quarter. It's 7-7. A 3rd and a 14 for the Dragons. And they run it straight up the gut. And Holmes, I believe, comes up to the 29-yard line. So they're looking at a 4th down and about 8. And we'll have to punt it away.
Delran should get good field position out of this.
You know, Steve, this is what Jim Donahue wants right now, to have Tiemann punt in this win. And they're going to get excellent field position here and should have it. And maybe we can get a score in before the end of the quarter.
3:45 left. Plenty of time for Saka to work.
The snap is good. The kick is held up in the wind. Look at that. And a fair catch by, let's see, was it Verratti or Ellison? It was Ellison with a fair catch at the 42-yard line. But I'm sure if you saw what we saw here in the press box, that ball just got stuck right up in the air and started coming back because of the wind.
A 14-yard punt, really not what Kingsway needed, but they really had nothing to do with it. The kick was hard enough, and as you saw, it just started floating into the air.
All right, there's the Kingsway fans across the way. They're saying, come on, guys, hold. They've been playing very well, the defensive squads of the Dragons here today. Saka's going long to John Ellison. He's down. What a catch by Ellison. Number 9 just pulled it down right in the face of Frank Tiemann, number 3.
What a catch by John Ellison. We've seen him make acrobatic catches all season long. That could have been the biggest of the season for Ellison. Definitely not the most acrobatic or the toughest, but probably the biggest.
Ellison, who's been a godsend for this Delran team and has played here 4 years.
37-yard
team
reception.
1st and 10. Let's see where they mark it. Right about the 5-yard line. It's 1st and goal, and Saka on a roll. He may go. He throws it. Oh, incomplete. And he had a man out there.
Everybody thought he was going to run. It looked like he had some room to do it. Well, it's 2nd and goal from the 5, but what a play. 37-yard pass play from Saka to Ellison. And now Delran in a big position to take the lead in this ball game. And points have been scarce this afternoon. So if Delran can take the lead, that could be all she wrote, especially the way their defense is playing.
The pass was incomplete to Bowman, number 27. He was open. but Saka just overthrew him, and maybe again the wind had something to do with the trajectory of his pass.
Tell you one thing, Gene, if Delran gets this ball in, I'm not going to be able to hear it even if you yell in my ear, because this crowd is going to erupt.
All right, it's 2nd down and goal from the 5, and Saka rolls the same way to his left, turns it upfield, dives. He's going to be close to the touchdown, but they're going to mark him about 1.5 yards short. Saka is stopped at the 1.5 yard line, so the Bears looking at a 3rd and goal now, Steve, and really they have two cracks to get this thing in.
Give it to Mr. Grello up the middle, and then if it doesn't work, give it to him again.
Come on, let's go!
Saka fumbled it. Let's see who's on it. The Dragons say they have it, and they do. The Dragons come up with a big turnover at the 2 yard line as the exchange was not good to Saka, and the Dragons jump on it and stop a big opportunity for the Bears.
Mark Jaramillo, the nose guard, 6 foot, 187 pounds, a senior, doesn't want to play his last game for Kingsway this afternoon. He pounced on that ball. What a big play by Jaramillo and the defense for Kingsway. They now have the ball at their own 1 yard line, but they stopped the Bears from scoring, more importantly.
All you have to do is look back just maybe an hour ago when the Bears stopped the Dragons and a 1st and goal from the 2 and really got a lot of momentum and came down and scored a couple series later to really change the momentum, and I think maybe the Dragons could have done that right there.
They could have. Musamuchi on the carry that time. He got back to the line of scrimmage, and that was it. He's thrown the ball 4 times today, -6 yards.
And I'm sure Musamichi right now wants to roll that clock down so he gets the win in that 4th quarter. It's 2nd and 10 for the Bears. Musamichi puts him out in a pro set. And it's the first back. Holmes, and Holmes is down. Is it a safety? Let's see where they mark it.
Delran thinks so, but I don't think so, Gene. I think he was
I
able
know
to
the
escape
Bears
the
think
end zone.
so. Jimmy Donahue wants timeout. He wants timeout, so they have to try to at least stop him the kick, and he gets the timeout. So with 1:06 to go, and the exciting 3rd quarter, your score, Delran 7, Kingsway 7. We'll be back after it's only about a foot away from the goal line.
Everybody on the Delran side thought so too, Gene, and everybody in the press box shouting and the fans yelling at the official. But I think it was pretty obvious that Holmes was able to get out of the end zone and get to about the 1.5 foot line where you see the ball marked now. It's 3rd and about 14.
All right, this is a big play in this ball game. Musamichi with a lot of pressure on him here. And I see movement all over from both offense and defense. And if the offensive man moves, there should be a half of the distance to the goal penalty.
Yeah, a whole foot. It's a 1.5 line. You're going to move it about 8 inches.
That's what it is. They're going to move it half the distance to the goal.
I got a question, Gene. How do you mark that on the stat sheet? 8 inches, huh? Penalized for 8 inches. I never had to do that before.
3rd down and 12.
So now, as we look at the Bears squad, you have to understand now, Steve, their thrust at the line might draw back the offensive line just that much, enough for them to get a safety here. Musamichi wants to throw at the mound, and he's incomplete. Oh, man. Number 96, Larry Robinson, was out there and didn't know what to do with it once it got out there.
All he saw was dirt and ahead of him. He saw open field and plenty of it. He had it and just couldn't hold on to it. And that's a big play because Delran now will get the ball back in great field position if Kingsway can get the ball away from the end zone.
What a play call by Coach Tony Barchuk. And Musamichi had it called and had the right play. And Robinson hauls it in. It's a different scenario. Here's the kick. Ellison lets it drop at the 15. It will die at the 14-yard line. And let's see. This place is going absolutely bonkers.
You know, the Kingsway has punted 3 times this half, Gene. 15 yards, 14 yards and 14 yards just now. That's really not a knock on the punter. It's really the wind that's forcing them to do that. They have been kicking into the wind. And now Tony Saka and Delran with a golden opportunity to go ahead once again.
All right, Saka, look from the throw, and here he goes, rolling. He looks upfield, tucks it under, still has it, and has got a first down, and there's a flag down. And in that position, you look at holding or blocking behind the waist.
We'll have to wait and see who it's against. It looks like it's going to go against Delran. It's a clip. That's a 15-yarder. That's a big penalty.
All right, so this changes the whole complexion now of the offense, because Saka would have had it inside the 10, and they would have been looking at a second down and very short. And now they'll be looking at first down at about 25.
That could give some momentum back to the Kingsway defense. It's just been a seesaw battle all the way. It looks like one team's going to score. They don't. The other team looks like they're going to score. They don't. Just a great defensive ball game. And just an exciting ball game to watch. And it almost makes you forget about how cold it is out here. Almost.
All right, 31 seconds on the clock here in the third quarter.
First and about a mile.
First and 25 for the Bears. Saka rolling right this time. Looks downfield, has a man forward in the end zone. And Ellison and Ford collided with the secondary man. And we're going to pick a number out here. Number 12, it looks, or 13, Todd McCluskey was in the air, and they just knocked it down.
Everybody screamed for interference, but it couldn't be interference because Ellison ran in the forward. The secondary man was there, McCluskey was there, but he wasn't the one that made the contact. The two Delran receivers ran into each other. I think they would have been out of the end zone anyway.
All right, so it's still a Delran timeout here has been called with 11 seconds to go in the third quarter.
They want one more play with the win.
One more play with the win, and we'll have it for you when we return after these commercial messages. Looking at a second down and 17 from the 21-yard line. From the eyes, Saka looks quickly to Ford. Ford has it. He is inside the 10, still on his feet, touchdown. Now they're going to mark him short. They're going to mark him short, but he does have a first down, Steve.
What a play. Nice run by Ford after catching the ball.
That is not a touchdown.
They're going to give him
Let's see where they mark it.
They're going to give him 15 yards, and he needed 16 to get in.
That ball will be marked.
It is about a foot short, and the time will run out here in quarter number 3. We are looking for a very, very exciting finish in this Group 2 semifinal. Your score at the end of 3, Delran 7, Kingsway 7. We'll be back with 12 more minutes in somebody sees Man High School. Gene Prince, Steve Salkin. The Bears are just about ready to punch it in, but you know, we've had both teams in this position, Steve, and you can never count on it until it's across the goal line.
We've had it happen twice and nobody scored, so we'll see what happens this time. It's about the same position. They're down the other end of the field. Maybe it's better luck for the Bears down this end.
All right, we'll see. No one has scored in this side of the end zone. It's Saka. Bello the deep man. Todd Ogan the up man, and it's Saka. And Tony Saka is in for the touchdown. Saka takes it in from about a foot out for the touchdown. To cap off a very, very short drive, but a drive that can mean so very much to this coaching staff and the Bears team.
13-yard drive. Saka punches it in from 1 yard out. And this point after could be very big.
Let's see if he decides to go for 2 here. Again, this wind is coming right from that goalpost down the field. And maybe that's what Coach Jim Donahue is thinking of right now. Let's get 2, and then we'll force them to put 2 in.
They are going for 2.
All right, Saka going for the 2. His squad up by 6 right now at 13-7. And Saka rolls, and he looks, and he has a man, and it's blocked down. Nice play by Mel Carter, number 82, who gave them pressure. But the Bears have gotten the lead for the first time today. They lead with 11:56 to go in the fourth and final quarter by the score of 13-7. We'll be back with more fourth quarter action right after this. Welcome back here at the Delran High School Stadium. There's your score, 13-7 in favor of the Bears. Steve, you have the scoring summary there for folks at home.
A 13-yard drive, Saka capping it off with a 1-yard touchdown. Two-point conversion was no good. It's 13-7. Took just 4 seconds into the fourth quarter for Delran to go up.
All right, so the fourth quarter brings us points, and that's what the Dragons need right now is points as they trail by 6. Merritt with a kick, and it's off one of the up men, and he goes down at about the 32-yard line. So the Dragons will bring on an offense which averaged 27 points a game this year, but have been held to just 7.
One key aspect you might look at in the second half is where Kingsway has started their drives. This will be their 4th drive of the half. They started at their own 10, their own 26, their own 1, and now their own 32. For Delran, they started their own 34, Kingsway's 42, and Kingsway's 13.
Quite a difference in the ball game right now. Musamichi still has the football, looks downfield, has a man, and it's incomplete to that big tight end, Larry Robinson, who was out there. Robinson, 6'2", 234, and you can't miss him when he's out there in the secondary.
That time, that ball was thrown badly. He had him open. The first time, Robinson just dropped it. That time, it was a bad pass.
All right, let's see what they call here. It's against the Bears. It's going to be roughing the passer on Musamichi. So that's a 15-yarder and a first down for the Dragons.
Big penalty because that really, in a sense, completes that last pass because that's about where Robinson was, about 15 yards downfield.
All right, so the Dragons get a little fire to them as they come up to the 46-yard line with 11:30 on the clock. A lot of time left in this one. Musamichi, second back Holmes, and Holmes is hit right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe he got a yard.
Yeah, they're going to give him a yard before he got hammered back.
If you went to try to name the tacklers, you might have to name the whole defensive squad.
Yeah, just run down the whole roster. You know, Barnes would be in there.
Absolutely. Such a hard-nosed blue chipper, number 56. Here's a 2nd and 9 now for Kingsway from their own 47. Musamichi looks, still looks, fires it, and it's incomplete. Incomplete at about the 43 of Delran as he tried to hit Mel Carter on a crossing pattern.
It just kind of bounced right in front of Carter. Carter trapped it, and the official right there to make the accurate call. Bring down a 3rd and 9. Big play for the Kingsway offense because Delran has been running a lot of time off that clock, and if they get the ball back, they might be able to run most of this game away.
Good point, Steve. Good point. This is a big 3rd and 9 for the Dragons. And the Dragon fans over there looking at this very, very cautiously. Musamichi lofts it downfield. He's got his man. It's Mel Carter at about the 36-yard line. A big 3rd down play. Musamichi to Carter.
It certainly was. Carter was open, and you have to wonder how he got that wide open.
What a nice touch by Musamichi as he just lofted it over the linebackers and in front of the secondary.
Gonna call it an 18-yard pass play. That's the first completion for Musamichi in this half.
All right, clock winding down to 10:30. And the Dragons are on the move. It's Carter with the ball, number 82. Or was it Yurchin? We'll have to look at it. 92, Ed Yurchin it was. Not Carter, 82, but 92 Yurchin.
Yurchin got about 4 or 5. Call it 4.
So again, Jimmy Donahue has to ask his defense to do the job here right now as the Dragons are on the move. Ball resting at the 33-yard line of Delran on a 2nd down and 7 officially. 2nd and 7. Here it is to number 82. This one looks like Carter. Good play by the Delran defense. Number 70 in on the tackle.
14 play, they will have a
That's
third
Donnelly.
down.
Donnelly stayed right at home that time, Steve. Would not go for the fake and stayed with Carter and dropped him down.
Carter able to gain 2 yards, but they needed more than that. Now it's 3rd and 5.
So the Dragons are faced with another 3rd down and 5 or plus to go with 9:40 in this 4th quarter. Another big 3rd down play. Musamichi rolls, fires, incomplete. The Holmes is back, number 26.
Tell you what a play in there by Shuttleworth for Delran, a tight end defensive back. He hit Holmes as Holmes was about to catch the ball, making him drop it.
All right, now what do? Do you go for it or do you punt it away?
Have to go for it. You're really not doing any good putting it away.
And that they are, as Musamichi still out there on the field, number 6, and gets the play from number 3, Frank Temian.
Especially, Gene, with the weather conditions, the punt is not going to go that far anyway.
Well,
might as well go for it.
Maybe with the wind, it would land in the end zone, and that's what Coach Tony Barchuk is thinking.
I would at least call a timeout anyway, as if I was Kingsway. The official now calling a timeout because of that dust storm. But if I was the Kingsway coach, I'd call a timeout and at least talk this over. This could be the biggest play of the season. And he got 3 timeouts left, and might as well use one.
And there you see Frank Paris in your picture, the defensive coach of the Bears, and things have really turned around here since his appearance in September, really last year when he made the commitment to come here, and then this September really working with the boys. 9:36 on the clock on a 4th down and 5 for the Dragons. Musamichi looks, throws downfield, has a man, and it's batted down by the Delran secondary man on a very good play, Steve, because he did not elect to intercept it.
Yeah, Gene, I'll give you one guess who that player was. Tony Saka. He wants that ball farther upfield. He doesn't want to intercept it. He doesn't want any stats like an interception. He wants the ball farther upfield because he knows he's going to get the ball in his hands.
Shows you what a competitor he really is and what a team man he really is. All right, so now the Bears on offense.
1st and 10 the Bears.
Let's see where they spot it from their own 31-yard line. Grillo right up the middle, and Grillo picks up maybe a yard before he's thrown back by a host of Dragons.
9.5 minutes when Delran started this drive. Let's see how much they can run off. They've been pretty effective at that all season long, taking a lot of time when they want to with their drives.
Yep. Again, the Dragons are trailing by 6, 13-7. So they need a touchdown, no field goal here. They need to put the ball in the end zone. 8:56 on the clock, and she's running down. Saka still has it on a counter play to Verratti, and that did not fool number 44, Bob Stamp, who has had a tremendous game for the Dragons here today.
We talked about him before. That time you were right there. Verratti got back to the line of scrimmage, and that was about it. 3rd and 10. Now there's a big play for Saka and the Bears. They don't get a 1st down. Kingsway gets the ball back in pretty decent field position with a lot of time left.
They actually have not moved it at all from the 31 now. So they're looking at 3rd and 10. Saka rolls to his right, tucks it under, and is brought down. And now a flag on the play. Is there another late hit here?
Going to go against the Bears. It'll be declined, and Delran will have to punt the ball away.
Yeah, I believe that's what they'll do. They'll probably decline here and force 4th down because you don't want to give Saka another chance, I don't think.
No, not at all. Not with his arm. Even on a day like today, you still can't take any chances. The official now explaining the options to the Kingsway defense, but I'm pretty sure they'll decline it.
I'm sure there's some people in this press box that'll say that he's thrown greater than this, but I have seen him throw 60 yards in the air even on a day like this, it's got to go 30 or 20.
It is declined, and Delran will be faced with a 4th and 10, and they'll punt the ball away. So Kingsway gets a break, gets the ball back. Good defense gives their offense another chance to come away and snatch a victory.
All right, Steve, we were checking on the clock. When the Bears got possession, it was 9:30. Now there's 7:56, and it's running down, and Ford is standing at his own 21-yard line to boot this one away. A bad snap. The kick is partially blocked and rolls out of bounds, and it only moves about 5 or 10 yards, and Ford is saying, hey, I was touched. How about a roughing the kicker call? But that is not going to be the case.
A 5-yard kick on the play. It wasn't even enough for the first down, Chief.
All right, so now the Bears and their defense are on the field, and the Dragons have a great opportunity now to tie or go ahead with 7:41 to go in the 4th and final quarter. The ball is at the 35-yard line of the Bears. Holmes is blocked down and knocked down behind the line of scrimmage, but you know, some people had some cracks at him early, and he skithered away for some yardage.
He did all he could just to get a yard on the play, and that's what they're going to give him. Actually, they're going to give him 2.
Take that 2nd down and 8.
All right, they're going to say he picked up about a yard on the play, so you're looking at a 2nd and 9 from the 34-yard line.
7:10 to go. This is the first time Kingsway has started in Delran's territory this half, and only the 2nd time in the game.
Musumeci still has his man out there, and it's complete. Mel Carter has the first down at about the 24-yard line.
A 1st and 10.
And things are getting noisy on the other side right now, Steve, as they can smell their Dragons getting close to this end zone.
An 11-yard pass play to Carter. And a first down.
It is a first down, and Musumeci and the Dragons come stomping out here as they're trying to make this drive a memorable one right now. Again, neither of these teams have been in the playoffs before, and whoever wins this one moves on 2 weeks later. Inside, Julian Holmes carries it for about a yard. The clock winding down with 6:40 on it. Still a lot of time left.
Kingsway will have a 2nd down and 8.
And now they call a timeout because the wind's kicking up again.
Yeah, the officials
It's been that type of day here at Delran.
The officials just want to let it die down a little bit. They don't want any sand in anybody's face while they're trying to play.
Yep. Good move, good move. The referees, again, a fabulous job. And, you know, this is not easy doing a playoff game because so much is riding on it. And they've done a fairly decent job here today. I have not seen anything flagrant that they have called that was, you know, that I disagreed with myself, Steve.
Also a good job by the coaches. Two very disciplined ball clubs. No real blatant fouls. They had a couple of roughing calls, but that was just a little over-anxiousness on the part of the players. But good disciplined play.
6:30 to play here in the
All
game.
right, 6:30 down. It's 2nd down and 9 from the 24. And the stands here on the Delran side want that defense to come alive again as Tiemann goes in motion. And Musumeci looking that way, firing downfield, and it is complete. Complete to Mel Carter. He has caught 3 big ones in this ball game, but that one has been the biggest one of the ball game.
That one brings it down to, looks like, the 3-yard line. Make it the 4-yard line. That makes it a 21-yard pass play.
1st and goal, Kingsway at the 4.
It is spotted at the 4. And the Dragons are making their move to put this one into a tie. Musumeci hands it off.
That carry by number 26.
And it's 26, Julian Holmes.
He
And
lost
Holmes
a couple.
picked up very little
No
yardage here.
gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line for Kingsway.
They're going to give him progress back to the line of scrimmage.
Kingsway 7.
Very generous. Looks like Holmes lost a couple.
Again, remember the Bears had a big goal line stand in the first half, and they're going to try to duplicate that here in the fourth quarter. Musumeci throws across the middle, touchdown! The Dragons!
Complete by the quarterback, number 6, Steve Musumeci.
I didn't see who he threw it to. Might have been Robinson, the tight end, because he got out there so quick. At any rate, we are tied at 13 with 5:12 to go. And number 54, Mark Jaramillo, will attempt the big extra point of this ball game.
This is the biggest play of the game right here, Gene. If he gets it, they take the lead. If not, they're still tied.
The snap is good. The hold is down. The kick is up, and it is no good. The kick is no good. So with 5:12 on the clock here in the fourth quarter, your score, Delran 13, Kingsway 13. We'll be back with more right after this. Delran High School just got clarification, Steve. Mel Carter on the end of that touchdown pass, and he really set it up with that big one down to the floor.
There's a 35-yard drive for Kingsway. 4-yard touchdown pass from Musumeci to Carter. The point after was no good. It is tied at 13 with 5:12 left. And Gene, we didn't want to talk about it before. Well, you might as well touch on it now. If it ends tied at the end of 4 quarters, we go into a sudden death overtime.
And for all you fans who have watched overtimes in the NFL, this one will be quite different, and you'll see what I mean. And the kick by Jaramillo goes downfield. Ellison will pick it up. Ellison looking to set up some blockers. Comes up to about the 18-yard line. So the Bears have 83 yards to go to punch it in with 5:04 on the clock.
Plenty of time for Sackett and company to get one in.
You know, all the games that we have done in the playoffs, we have yet to see an overtime. So this will be a historical first along with the Bears in the playoffs and Kingsway this year. Zaka pulls it up, comes across the 20 to about the 23. Give him a pickup of 5.
Bears will have a second down and 5.
Not a bad pickup for Saka, 5 yards. Second and 5, they can do a lot of things now. Saka can choose to throw it up if he wants, or they can keep it on the ground.
She's winding down now with 4:20 to go. What a great ball game you've seen here today. I'll tell you, for all you folks down in Store Cable Woodbury, this is a tremendous team, a Kingsway team. The Dragons showed their character here in the fourth quarter. There's Steve Grello getting up to the 25-yard line. So the Bears are looking at a third down, say maybe 3 yards to go for a first down.
They're getting 2 yards on the play.
In the fourth quarter, 5 score.
3rd and 4. Big play for Delran's offense, because if they don't get the first down, Kingsway's going to have decent field position again.
And Verratti will bring in the play.
Look for Saka to go to Verratti. I think the way Verratti ran in there, he split out wide to the right.
And Ellison, the acrobatic one, split out closest to you. Covered very tightly by McCluskey. Saka goes the other way, pitches it to Grello. Grello looked like he had the first down at one time, Steve, and then cut back to try to get extra yardage, and this one will be real tight on that chain.
Certainly will. They're gonna yank that thing like real tight, but I don't think he got it. It looked like Grello could have cut up the middle and had it, but what he tried to do was cut back to the outside. That's when the defense caught up to him. I don't think he got it.
All right, Jimmy Donahue's pointing, yes, he's got it, but let's see when they stretch the chain. And the Bears have it. It was that close, Steve.
Very, very close, and it all came down to the official spot of the ball.
All right, so the Bears keep it alive, but now they're fighting another element as if they need it one more, and that's the clock, which has 3 minutes on it. and counting down.
Yeah, time's running out on their running game. They're going to have to go to the air pretty soon.
Saka on the 1st and 10. First back, and it's Todd Ogan. And Ogan comes up to, let's see, the 43-yard line.
5 yards.
33-yard line. Check that.
Mark that ball at about the 33-yard line of Delran.
Clock's still moving.
I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but the wind has died down all of a sudden. And I'm sure everybody here is applauding that.
Especially if we got to go to overtime.
It'll be 2nd and 5. As Ogan picked up 5. Straight up the gut, and the defense is there for the Dragons.
28, Todd Ogan.
Ogan again on the carry, maybe a yard.
Timeout, Kingsway.
A host of Kingsway Dragons in on the tackle. Of course, number 44, Bill Stom, is there. We have a timeout on the field with 2:01 to go. We are tied at 13, and we'll be back right after this. Steve, the last 2 minutes and 1 second in somebody's playoff season, or maybe overtime.
Yeah, I think I'm surprised Delran's kept it on the ground as long as I have. I think they got to start putting it in the air. They got a long way to go.
They might be setting up the sleeper, you know. Here's Saka on a roll. He turns it upfield. He is at the 47-yard line as Saka makes this game under his own hands and brings it up to the 47 for a first down.
12-yard run by Saka. I'll tell you, he's got 30 yards on the ground today and a touchdown. Can't ask for too much more from your quarterback.
We're down to 1:50. The Bears with the ball at their own 47. But they need a big play quick. Saka rolling this time, pitching to Grello. Great play by Frank Tiemann, number 3, as he just played that pitch so well and dropped Grello behind the line of scrimmage.
Grello's going to end up losing. He's going to end up losing about 10 yards from the play.
All right, we have a timeout on the field with 1:29 to go in quarter number 4. We're deadlocked at 13. Welcome back here to Delran High School Stadium. 1:29 on the clock. Grello lost about 10 yards, as you said, Steve, so they're looking at a 2nd and 20. Straight up the middle, you know, maybe Jimmy Donnie was saying, hey, listen, let's not make any mistakes here now. Let's be ultra conservative.
Let's play for overtime. It looks like that's what they're doing. Or, as you said, they could be setting up the sleeper, and it could come at any time as long as John Ellison is on that field with Tony Saka at the helm. Anything can happen. So don't go to the refrigerator and get some food for overtime yet, because this one's not going there just yet.
All right, it's under a minute now, and Bowman, number 27, comes in, and Verratti checks out.
Tell you though, Gene, if the sleeper's coming, it's coming right now because it's 3rd and 20. And if they don't get a first down, they're going to have to kick the ball away and give Kingsway a chance to win this ball game.
Jimmy Dunny is using the clock right now because he does not have the win. Keeps it on the ground. Grello comes up to about the 40-yard line, but it'll be 4th down. And Kingsway has just used their last timeout with 35 seconds to go.
Delran only has 1 left.
Yeah, we're going to keep it right here. Again, we want to thank all the people here at Delran High School for helping us do this Group 2 semifinal between Kingsway and the Bears, and the Kingsway people for, you know, helping out here in the booth with some of their new names to us here in Burlington County. 35 seconds on the clock again. This is a very short week for us, Stephen, as this Thursday, Star Cable here in Burlington County will be at Burlington City for the traditional Turkey Day game between Palmyra and Burlington City. It's only 80-some years old this year, so it has to be the oldest game in the county, without a doubt, and maybe in all South Jersey.
So Delran's going to punt the ball away here on 4th down, and Kingsway will probably get, a good 25 seconds to try and get the ball in.
Ford standing at his own 30. Now Mind you, he had one blocked earlier, but he gets this one away. And it's fielded by Walls. Walls still on his feet. Finds the sideline and finally knocked out about, make that 82 Carter with the reception. All the way down to the 38-yard line at Delran. There is still 25 seconds to go.
At the 37-yard line of the Bears.
37 officially. Now last time, Gene, you remember they started at the 35 and scored. So let's see what happens here. 25 seconds to go.
I'm sure Musamichi is going to be firing up right here. Incomplete. As they ruled that team in number 3 was juggling it when he was knocked out of bounds.
2nd and 10. That really did them no good anyway, Gene. 10 yards does you no good. Here, you need 30.
And you used 5 seconds, 5 precious seconds on the clock.
Had the right idea by going to the sideline, but some interference there and almost called. As right there was Moore for Delran. Got a hold of the receiver, but the officials ruled at the same time as the ball, no interference called.
Well, with 16 seconds on the clock, it will take a miracle for the Dragons to pull this off in some respects.
Well,
I do believe we're going to see OT.
They got 2 chances, basically, without.
And here's one of them. Musamichi back, throwing it downfield, and it's picked off by John Sackett. John Sackett, I believe.
Number 15, John Sackett.
With 9 seconds on the clock, the Bears will get the ball back.
And the Bears will have the football at the 5-yard line.
They've got it at their own 5, so Musamichi really doesn't hurt you there with that interception as he's throwing downfield, and it's now at the 5.
Yeah, not at all. It looks like it's definitely overtime now, as I don't think...
we will go overtime in this football game.
3, 2, 1, we're down to triple zeros. So with their score 13-13 in the 4th and final quarter, we will now proceed to overtime. We'll take a short time out and come back right after this. Well, Gene Prince, along with Steve Salkin. Steve, 13-13. We're heading for overtime, and right now, the people that you see out there are your captains to both teams, all the referees, and the 2 athletic directors. This is the first overtime game we've ever done, so it's news to us, huh?
It is. It's interesting to see the crowd that gets out there.
All right, we have the official rules from the NJSIAA, and they've adopted the 10-yard line procedure for all playoff games. What this means is, following a 3-minute intermission, which we'll have right now, the referee will toss a coin, which the home team will call. The winner of the toss will have the option of going on offense, defense, or choosing the end of the field where the series will be conducted. Each team will then have a 4-down series from the 10-yard line in order to score. A series ends when the offense scores, the defense gains possession, or the offense has failed to score in the prescribed 4 downs. The team who started on defense will then be given a 4-down series at the same 10-yard line. If the score remains tied at the end of these 2 series, the process is repeated until the winner is established. Rules will be the same as in regulation play. The clock will not be used. Any foul, which normally results in an automatic first down, will award the offense a new series of 4 downs. So there's the rules by which we will all play by here in this overtime, Steve. Should be very, very exciting.
And that's probably what you see right now on your screen is the officials explaining to everyone, the coaches, the captains, the ADs, making sure they understand exactly what the rules are. So if there are no discrepancies, a coach can't come and say, well, I didn't know that was part of the rules. He wants to make sure that everybody knows and they're all clear on what's going to happen to finally get a winner in this ball game. And boy, you couldn't ask for a better ball game today.
Everybody bundled in blankets and everything. There's a look at some of the Delran players that are on the sideline wrapped up in their coats. You know, when we started this ball game here this afternoon, the clock operator, Will Gillespie, said to me, "Hey, Gene, I've got the official rules in case we go into overtime." And I looked at him and said, "Overtime?" And he goes, "Yeah, I've got the official rules here." I said, "I don't know. We've never had an overtime game. Maybe I let the cat out of the bag too soon."
Somebody at halftime said this is going overtime, and we kind of looked at him a little funny too, but I don't know. I guess it had all the markings of an overtime ball game. Very close all the way. One team scored, the other team came right back right after that. Both times each team scored. Somebody came right back and scored again. So we could go on all afternoon because we're going to keep going until somebody doesn't score after somebody else does.
All right, so there's the rules again. We'll talk about one more thing here in this intermission, if we may. Kingsway, in their schedule and in their record of 6-1-1, have played combined team records now through the 8 weeks, meaning they beat Pennsville in the first game. Pennsville went on to be 0-8 the rest of this season here. Looking at a combined record, Kingsway played teams that were 31, 30, and 3 over the course of the season. The Bears of Delran have played teams that were just 28 and 36. Now, what does that say? Does it say Kingsway played a tougher bunch of people? No, that's hard to say, so, but they're the facts. That's how the teams went the rest of the way after their defeat to these two respective teams out here this afternoon. There's the Dragon, and I'm sure he's breathing fire on that other side of the field right now.
Yeah, we could use some of that up here, couldn't we?
All right, I am going to keep these rules in front of me again because they are all new to me. This was decided this year, of course. So now they will have the intermission and flip the coin, I believe.
Really, the intermission is just for a chance for the coaches to talk to their teams briefly, a few instructions. The strategy really isn't going to change too much as it does at halftime. There's really no extended talk for the coaches to give to their teams. Really just a quick word or two on how he wants the overtime played, maybe the defensive scheme, what kind of offense he wants to run, maybe go with a 3-back offense or something like that. But that's basically all the time he has to tell his team what he wants done.
Maybe it's ironic that these two teams that are playing in their first playoff game go to overtime in the first game and start a whole new era in overtime play for the NJSIAA.
Well, kind of see how it works, I guess, this afternoon. We'll kind of see how well their decision turned out.
The referee, Bill Green, out there, and that whole squad has done a fantastic job out here at Delran today as we enter overtime. The Dragon fans on their feet because that was just a very, very gut-wrenching drive there for that 35 yards to tie this in the fourth quarter in the visiting park and against the best defense in South Jersey outside of Glassboro.
Really was a gutsy performance by the Dragons and by the Bears.
And the crowd on their feet here in Delran as they want this victory. And over across the way, you see the Dragons huddling around Coach Tony Barchuk.
The Delran players on the sideline trying to fire this crowd up. Get a little momentum behind them.
All right, they have discussed the strategies as Mark Barnes, when Casey wins the toss, what he's going to do. And the captains, number 44, Bill Stump, for Kingsway, number 7, Bill Samuel, are out there for Kingsway, and they know what they're going to do in the event that they win the toss. So here we are, folks. Almost like we were starting this football game from scratch, except they're beaten up now after playing 2.5 hours.
The coin was tossed, and now we're waiting for the decision to be made.
All right, and flip will occur now.
The ball will be marked.
They are going to go down to the south end of the field, closest to the scoreboard.
And looks like Delran will take the ball first as Tony Sacco is running out there.
No?
Now they're coming back.
Delran elects to go on defense first. So the Bears want to use momentum from their defense to carry over to their offense. If they can stop Kingsway here on this 1st and goal from the 10 is what you got to call it, they'll get the ball back with momentum, and hopefully we'll push them across the goal line.
Yeah, this overtime, Gene, is very similar to a shootout in soccer, where one player has a chance to score. If he doesn't, your player has a chance to score. And if you score while the other team doesn't, you win. So the defense has to come up big right here for Delran.
One thing, Steve, a very, very tough way to lose a playoff game if you lose this by what you have called a shootout.
I wonder if the direction of the wind factored in the referee's decision of which end of the field to go in.
As the wind kicks up now in the face of the Bears. And here we go. 1st and goal from the 10-yard line for Kingsway in overtime. Musamichi looks to fire quickly, and it's incomplete. And someone may have gotten a hand on it from Delran, maybe number 83. That is Shuttleworth, Pat Shuttleworth, may have got a hand on it.
Maybe Barnes too. It looked like it had a chance of being intercepted by the Bears, but it fell flat. And of course, as we saw in the rules, if it is an interception, Delran gets the ball at the 10-yard line.
Right. All right, so there's the stage. It's set for you, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this one because we definitely have.
Play number 2.
2nd down and goal from the 10. Musamichi looking, firing, and it's incomplete. What a hit. Whoever the linebacker was, or the safety man on the play, looks like number 22, John Moore, made a big hit and caught the ball free.
It was almost caught on the play.
So now you're looking at 3rd down and goal. And of course, there's no field goal here, folks. You got to go all the way in. So they got 2 more cracks to go to 10 yards. And the chant of defense echoes from the stands.
Kingsway's very confused, very confused. But since there's no clock, they really don't have to use a timeout.
They run the ball to Holmes, and Holmes gets inside the 5 to the 4-yard line.
It'll be 4th and goal from the 4. Make it 5 officially.
Fourth down, this is the last down.
All right, we have just been told that each team does get a timeout in the overtime. So here we go, 4th and 4, 4th and 5, they're calling it now, from the 5, and Kingsway uses that timeout in overtime. So we are deadlocked at 13-13 in overtime. We'll be back right after this. Come on. Welcome back here to Delran High School, home of the Dust Bowl, 1987. As you see it there, things are whipping here. And it's 4th and 5 from the 5.
See, we just gotten word again is it seems everybody's a little bit unclear as to the exact rules, but the latest word we have is they can kick a field goal if they wish.
Well, we'll have to get a clarification on that.
4th and 5, Kingsway.
4th and 5, and they're going for it. Musamichi rolls, fires, and it is touchdown. Bill Stem, number 44, who's had the game of his life here today on defense and now on offense.
It was on defense all afternoon. Stem with a great catch in the corner. And the last play that they could score, they did it.
Correction on that, there will be an attempt at the extra point.
And now they will try
an extra point.
Yep. For their fourth play.
All right, so the extra point here by Jaramillo.
And this could be just as big as the touchdown.
Absolutely.
The extra point will be attempted by
Couldn't really fault the Delran defense on that play, Gene. He was well covered. Just a great throw and a great catch.
And how do you like the coolness of number 6, Steve Musamichi? Bad snap. And now he is knocked down. So the Bears stop the extra point. And we are now at 19-13.
And now Delran, of course, they have to score. And if they kick the extra point, they win the ball game. This is great.
Everybody else.
All right, now here we go. The offense that has scored over 27 points a game for the Bears goes back on the field, and we'll have it 1st and goal at the 10.
I'll tell you, you know why I think they decided to play defense first? Because I think if you give Tony Sacca 1st and goal from the 10, he's going to score every time somehow. And I think that's how much confidence Jim Donahue has in that young man, that he let his defense go on there first.
All right, and here comes the Bears offense as the winds begin to whip again here. One mistake and this one's all over. The Dragons defense has played well all game long, and Sacca with it. He wants to turn it upfield. Sacca inside the 5, and he cracks it down to the 3-yard line.
Down to the 3.
So the Bears now with some great momentum off the 7-yard run by Sacca.
Sacca went with the 3-back offense that time to Delran. Now he's really running an option-type offense right there. He could have run it, pitched it to any one of 2 people, or thrown it. That's a very confusing type of offense for a defense to stop, especially down this close.
All right, so they got it 2nd and goal from the 3. And we got a whistle as the flag comes down, and people flying all over the place right now.
And I think it's going to go against Kingsway. Delran holding up their fist. It'll be a 1st down.
Offside against Kingsway. What this should do is just should set it half the distance to the goal.
2nd and 1.5.
And half the distance to the goal.
So it should be 2nd and 1.5 yards.
2nd down and 1.5 yards is the call.
Now, had it been an automatic 1st down call, it would have been a 1st.
That's right.
From that spot. But now it's 2nd.
Right, like a face mask or something like that would have brought a 1st down, but since it was only offsides, it's 2nd and half the distance to the goal. Sacca goes forward and does not get in.
He got about to the 1-foot line.
Let's see where they mark him. We're going to try to get to that nose of the football for you. If we look at the pylon across the way, he's about a foot short of the touchdown on 3rd down, so he's got 2 cracks. All right, here we go, folks. 3rd and goal from the foot line. Sacca, handoff, and the Dragons defense stops it short of the goal.
I think it was Grello that got the ball. Wait until the... No, it's Ogun.
That was Ogun on the carry, and Ogun couldn't get it in, and we're going to look to see. Delran calls timeout with your score. The Dragons 19, the Bears 13. We'll be back for maybe the final play of this ballgame. This could be it, Steve.
Could be the last play in the Bears season right here if they don't get it in.
Well, of course, they got Thanksgiving, but in their playoff season. Sacca, he's got room, touchdown! Everybody went for the gut for the play to Hogan, and he scrambled around untouched.
You know, Gene, the funniest thing about this is about 2 seconds before we came back, you said to the guy behind you, Sacca's going to roll out and score a touchdown.
All right, and here we go. Comes down to Mike Barron, the kicker. Mike Barron, the kicker. He's 1 for 1 today. It is 19-19 in the Bears. Want to go another week here in 1987. A bad step. Sacca looks, throws, and he's got it. The Bears will play December 5th. The Bears will play December the 5th. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Who was the holder? John Sacca, the holder.
Who would have thought it? Sacca throws the pass that puts the Bears into the finals, but it's not Tony Sacca, it's John Sacca.
The heir apparent of his brother, Tony Sacca, throws his team into the playoffs, and the Bears will play the winner of Sterling and Buena next week, December 5th.
Gee, we can't even tell who caught the ball. There's too many bodies down there. by the time they uncover it, it's going to be 8 o'clock tonight. We'll never find out who caught it.
All right, your final score, Delran 20, the Dragons 19. We'll be back with a final wrap-up right after this. They have had 4 championships so far in this fall, and this one might be another championship trophy to put on the mantle or in the showcase in Delran High School as they beat the Dragons 21-19 in an absolutely overtime thriller.
Certainly was, and we finally figured out who that was that caught that. Get this, the last 2-point conversion on the blown extra point, John Sacca to Tony Sacca. Now, what do you think dinner's going to be like at the Sacca household tonight?
What do you think this town's going to do tonight? As they are turned on their ear once more, their Bears have proceeded to the championship game of the Group 2 semifinals. Steve, let's take it from the top because this one is well worth the effort of running this one down from quarter number 1. Do your scoring summary for our folks at home.
Kingsway started it. First quarter, a 70-yard drive. Julian Holmes, a 13-yard run. The point after was good. It was 7-0 with 1:50 remaining in that first quarter. Then Delran in the last part of the second quarter, a 47-yard drive, 25-yard pass from Sacca to Verratti. Point after was good. It was tied at 7 with 1:36 left in the half, and there was no scoring in that third quarter as both teams went downfield, stopped, came back and stopped. Then the fourth quarter, Delran opened it up on a 13-yard drive. Sacca put it in from 1 yard out. The 2-point conversion failed. It was 13-7, just 4 seconds into that fourth quarter. Then Kingsway came back with 5:12 left. A 35-yard drive, a 4-yard pass from Musamichi to Carter. The point after was missed. It was tied at 13. We had overtime written all over it. Then in overtime on the first series, Kingsway punches it in on a 4th down. It was a 4-yard pass to Stum in the end zone. Point after was no good, 19-13, and then the dramatics started. Delran got it on their series. Sacca was able to run it in from a yard out after running 7 yards himself, ran it in from 1 yard out. The 2-point conversion from John Sacca to Tony Sacca puts Delran in the finals.
Unbelievable as the Saccas continue to do it for Delran. You know, it's unbelievable what character, too, that Kingsway has in that big fourth quarter drive. Even though it just went 35 yards, a lot of character, Steve, as you're down and you're playing away, being down by 6 points in the fourth quarter, and the Dragons come back to tie it, to force the overtime, and then score in the overtime with their first possession. So a lot of moxie by that club across the way there, the Kingsway Dragons, and they have just been a pleasure to do here today.
Yeah, Kingsway, really nothing to be ashamed of. They took the Bears, probably the best team in South Jersey, or very close to it, down to the very wire, and you can't get much closer than this one came. And nothing to be ashamed of. They're going to go home and congratulate themselves on a good season, have a nice Thanksgiving game, and call it a year.
All right, we just got clarification because it was like a mob scene in that end zone. It was Pat Shuttleworth who caught that pass from John Sacca, but still, Tony had an absolutely beautiful game here today. This week, and it's a short one, this Thursday, we will be at Burlington City for the Turkey Day tradition in Burlington County as the Palmyra Pals play Burlington City. The Pals are 4-4, City's 5-3, but with this game, you throw out the records because it means nothing.
The records mean nothing. It's just a good traditional football game. Thanksgiving was meant for football, and they've been doing it for 80-plus years, and they're going to still do it, so we'll be there. And who knows after that? Maybe we'll have more playoff action.
We will. We'll follow either Delran or Willingboro pending the outcome of their game here today against Rancocas Valley, which was played at Carl Lewis Stadium. So for Steve Salkin, I'm Gene Prince saying good night from a frigid Delran High School Stadium where your final score, yes, the Bears proceed. They win 21-19 in overtime.